Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be going through the process of creating this. I had a very cool experience while creating this concept art. I started the painting with the intention to have another Pixelwood experience. If you haven't seen them, it's a series where I create fan art using movie posters or comic books and draw them in my style. I was gonna create a comic book cover inspired by The Girl and the Glim. And when I started painting, I entered the flow state. And the painting went into a completely different direction. I felt no longer bound by the limitations of my ideas. And it was like I had a third eye looking ahead, giving me direction on what to paint next. You see, I started coding my boss battles, and I have been inspired to take a look at different bosses and monster designs. So I took this opportunity to explore character design and play around a little bit. So what is flow state, you might ask? It's the mental state where you are fully immersed in an activity. You feel energized, focused, and really enjoying the process. But why is it important for you? Well, if you are an artist, you know that we tend to live in our own heads. We need to feel connected to the art piece, and if you're distracted, the whole process feels unnatural. Like you're walking through an ice storm, and entering this state feels like going through the ice storm in a friggin' tank. How do you create an environment where you can create this flow state on demand? Remember that this will be different for each person, and what works for me might not work for you. And I mentioned this in the previous video that at one point I took close to 3 years off where I painted way less and I struggled very hard to get into the flow state. Simply I was uncomfortable being uncomfortable. So the last few years I started by training my mind to get used to being uncomfortable. Let me explain. I used to have so many rules in my life where I just couldn't get into anything. And I was always playing it safe. And it was sometimes too much to handle. But once I tore down the walls, I started seeing a lot of potential. I realized that some rules were meant to be broken, especially the self-imposed ones. One of my stupid rules was, if I don't feel like drawing today, then it won't happen. And days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. How sad is that? That's when I realized that I gave my feelings way more power to make my decision for me. And I had to stop it and gain control back. I told myself, if you want to be in control, just be in control. Later that day, I just sat down and started painting. The painting took weeks to finish, and I remember how agonizing and angry I was. But at least I got it done. And from that point forward, I started to get better and reduce the amount it took to finish a painting. I found that the easiest way to get into the flow state is to listen to some music, look at some art, and start doodling. And I was thinking about this, like, you can't get a water out of the bottle without removing the cap. So I wanted to discover what is the minimal effort I need to do to let the creativity flow. And I know many people will mention meditation, but since art is an activity, just doing meditation just doesn't work for me. I like a more active approach, and starting to doodle plus listening to music really helpful in these situations. And one thing that really hindered my creativity and getting into that flow state was thinking that my next painting is going to suck and no one would like it. And that was another reason why I couldn't get into the flow or even paint at all until I realized, so what? Going through one bad idea after the other will only give your brain a chance to get into a better idea simply by just the process of elimination. And one of the coolest hacks to trick your brain is switching from the need to finish the task to what can this task do for you. This alone is such a relief, and it will take a lot of pressure from the work, and it will make it feel like the work is doing you a massive bonus by just being complete. Even if the task isn't done, you might come out of it learning something new. And I also found that one of the things that can get you into the state is by simply having a deep interest in the matter. This alone can get people to create endlessly. So use that into your advantage. Create ways and ideas to make you deeply interested in your work, or simply just doing a project for fun. One of the things that worked for me is by simply completing a task and getting it off to-do list. And lastly, we're very social beings. Sometimes it takes a little compliment that get you going for months and months. So if you see your fellow artist doing well and improving, give them a word of encouragement. It helps more than you know. And this is how the final painting looks like. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far and you're interested in optimizing things and becoming better, I've created a new Discord server for like-minded people who want to take this journey to the next level. You can find it in the description below. If you like this video, please leave it a like and a comment. It really helped me with the algorithm and help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy this video as well. Again, thank you so much, and remember, just take it one day at a time, and I'll see you in the next video.